My name is Mr. Sam. I am the director of Young Scholars Academy. And in the next 75 minutes, you are going to meet incredible mentors. You are going to discover one-of-a-kind courses that will excite your kiddo beyond belief. And I have a really excited kiddo with us who you'll hear from soon. You are going to plunge headfirst into this nurturing community that we call Young Scholars Academy and explore some unparalleled support. So we're going to have ourselves a great time. Whether you are here now live watching or I'm talking to you in the future, watching the recording, we are going to have a great time. So let's get into it. We are going to do a handful of things this evening. And I want to encourage you to stick around until the end because we are going to get into live breakout rooms later on so you can actually hang out with these different teachers and mentors that you're connecting with. So lots of excitement coming up. Why don't we hop in the chat if anyone wants to let us know where you're coming from. I see some familiar faces and names in here. If anyone wants to let us know, where are you? Are you in the United States? Are you in a state? Are you in a different country? Let us know where you're at in the chat if you feel like lighting that up and sharing. Some people want to hop in and say hi and where you're at. I am currently in Boston. I'm coming at you live from the East Coast. If anyone wants to do that. USA, awesome. Very cool, very cool. Atlanta, South Bay, LA, very cool. All right, we've got people from all over representing the United States. Someone else from Mass. Portland, love Portland. Oh, cool. Awesome. We've got a lot of different people here from a lot of different places. Excellent. All right, so as I said, if you want to go ahead and hop on in here, you're going to want to stay till the end because we have these amazing breakout sessions. So I would like to encourage you, pretty please, to do your best to really show up tonight. You are here, and I'm talking to you if you're here live. I know there's a lot of distractions out there. I know that there are your phones and other websites and things. So I want to ask you to do your best to minimize those distractions. If you're like me and you like to fidget, it's fine to have a constructive fidget. I like to play with chapstick. Have something that allows you to maybe tinker, but not get distracted, right? Not have other web browsing. So if you're here, try your best to be here. You've already shown up for your kiddos, or if you're a kiddo, you're here. Let's try to be as present as we can. All right. Really quick, in case we have not met before, I've introduced myself and tell you why I'm qualified to be here, hopefully. Cue the imposter syndrome. In all seriousness, I am Mr. Sam. I am the founder and director of Young Scholars Academy. I'm a two-time Fulbright scholar, and I have a master's in cognitive diversity and education from Bridges Graduate School. And I taught at Bridges Academy for almost 10 years. But most importantly, my superpower is doing this, is bringing all of these amazing people together. We have incredible mentors here. We have incredible families here. And what we've done is we've curated this incredible space. So I'd like to share with you a quick aha moment to kick off the evening. And we're going to go from that into all of our amazing mentors sharing their stories and connecting with you in a little bit. So I'm neurodivergent. And for whatever reason, I've always attracted other, neurodivergent, twice exceptional people in my life. I have this amazing group of friends, and I remember a couple of years back, I had this massive, ton of bricks aha moment where it just hit me, and it was heavy, boom, right in my face. And I realized that a lot of the people that I know that are leading fulfilling, successful, happy lives, contributing in meaningful ways to the arts and society, are doing the thing that they maybe did that was a distraction when they were in school. I'm going to give you a couple examples. One, a friend of mine, stay with me here. One of my friends is a musician, right? At one point when he was young, he was always getting in trouble for composing beats in class, right? Someone would tell him, pay attention, stop doing that. He would make parodies that made fun of his teachers or made fun of the content they were studying in a really high level way. And now he is making an incredible life for himself as a musician, right? He is wildly quirky, and he's doing the thing that was the distraction in class, okay? Another one, my dad. My father was a lifelong artist. He spent most of his time creating and producing and making really beautiful works of art. Yet he had ADHD, dyslexia, dysgraphia, and was sent to military school because it was the 1950s and no one knew what to do with someone like that. So you had to straighten him out, right? Can't sit still. There is someone there who made art his whole life. I also think of someone like a George Lucas, right? Someone who was busy in notebooks, creating other galaxies, whole universes. And I'm sure at some point, some teacher said, put away those doodles, we have to do math, right? And I share this with you because at some point, the distractions, the quirks, the hard edges of so many of our students end up being their gifts. They end up being the things that they contribute to the world, and they end up being the most magnificent things about them. I just got chills thinking about this. So all of these stories, they have this amazing thing in common, which is that these are stories about round pegs, and the problem is the stories about square pegs, and the problem is the round holes, right? So this evening, I want you to focus on, as we meet these different amazing mentors, and as we kind of dive into this place, we are in this Young Scholars Academy virtual village, which has been created for the sole purpose of sharpening our edges, of diving into the things that make us unique and make us individual and make us happy and fulfill us and fill our cup so much, because that's where we're going to find happy lives. So I'm asking you to join us on this journey and really kind of make a bit of a transformation here. Yes, we're talking about, learning and strength-based courses and all of that stuff. But what I'm really asking you to do is to join us on this transition to not only embracing our differences and the things that make us unique, but developing them, leading wholly into them, carving out an hour, 2 or 3 a week to do the things that we don't get anywhere else, but are probably the most important hours of our week. So if you're ready to do that, let me know in the chat right now. If you're into that, if you're into discovering and exploring and developing your edges or your kiddos' edges, feel free to light up that chat. And if you're watching the recording, I'm sorry you can't do that, but you can raise your hands and get excited. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go on to our spring programming. Now, we have a bunch of amazing summer camps coming up. Those are going to be out next week. And we have an amazing summer camp teacher who I'm going to have do a shout out in a little bit, just to tease you with something that we have coming up. But we are going to be getting into our spring conversations tonight. So if you are ready for that, we will kick off in just a moment. And I'm going to start with Miss Anna. So we're going to be talking about Homeroom Social Club. Miss Anna is one of our 2 Homeroom Social Club teachers. And we'll turn it over to Miss Anna to explain a little bit about what she's offering our amazing community this spring. Go ahead, Miss Anna.
Thank you. Yeah, hi. I'm Miss Anna, and I lead the Homeroom Social Club for ages 7 to 10 and 11 to 14 here in the Young Scholars Academy Enrichment Village. And it's exactly that. It's really a village, a wonderful community of fun and quirky and intelligent and just amazing kids. And the social club gives kids in this enrichment village a place to kind of just get a chance to know each other a little better. Kids with similar interests get together and have engaging conversations. We do lots of fun games and activities and really just lead the kids in their interests to be able to make more meaningful connections outside of their other courses. A lot of the kids will probably recognize each other from engineering class or Dungeons and Dragons or Minecraft or whatever they're doing. And it's just a really fun space where we try to give them the opportunity to thrive at creating and building and making those friendships lasting ones. And one of the ways that I do that is with something I call buddy breakout rooms. So buddy breakout rooms is just a small space where kids will get to hang out in a small group or one-on-one with another kiddo who has a lot of similar interests and get to know each other and form some meaningful connections while having fun with a group of kids.
Miss Anna, thank you so much. The Homeroom Social Club has become the glue that holds Young Scholars Academy together. And we have students who have been in YSA for 2 years, and I'll drop in on the Homeroom Club, and they're sharing parts of them that I didn't know. They're sharing their interests. They're connecting with other students. And when we ask our families, what's the number one priority? What's the number one thing that keeps you up late at night? What's the thing that's concerning you the most? A lot of the times it has to do with making friends, socializing, finding like-minded peers. And the research is abundantly clear. Let's just address this. Our students need one another, right? They are wildly asynchronous a lot of the time. They might have intelligent interests that are so unique that people with their similar age don't have at all, right? And they find that maybe people their age are boring, but maybe people who are older aren't as interested in talking to them. So having a bunch of twice exceptional and neurodivergent gifted kids in the same space where they can like share everything that there is to know about the history of railroading, for example, in a 7-year-old's body, right? Like that doesn't happen all the time, but it's happening here, and it's incredible. And the work that Miss Anna's doing and our other mentor, Nicole, who's not here right now, is doing is just incredible. So thank you, Miss Anna, so very much.
Of course. Thank you.
I also know that you have to go, Miss Anna, because you have another class coming up, I think. So feel free to head out if you need to. Before we go on to our next amazing mentor, I want to just share one thing. The way that I get this question asked a lot, the way that the homeroom social clubs work, when you sign up for 2 Young Scholars Academy classes and a 3rd class, so you sign up for 2 classes plus homeroom social club, we will refund you 100% of the homeroom social club. So you sign up for 2 classes and you get that for free. It's an added community support, just like you would get a homeroom if you were in a school. If you sign up for 1 class, what we do is we refund 50%. Okay, so this is sort of our new model where you sign up for 2 and you get the class for free. It's kind of buy 2, get 1, or you sign up for 1 and you get 50% off that homeroom social club. So that is how we're currently operating the homeroom social club. So I just want to make sure everyone's clear on that as an added support. All right, Miss Anna, we've just heard from you. We're going to go to our next amazing mentor. We're going to go over to Jackson, who's going to tell us about book club and creative writing.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Jackson Pierce, and I will be offering a book club class that I am extremely excited about. We're reading 3 different types of books, totally different genres by design. And I brought them this time to hold up. One is The War That Saved My Life, which is a World War II historical. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I love it so much. I have not ever had a student that didn't love this book. I'm just saying. Wait, you can't see the cover. There we go. We'll also be reading The Wild Robot, which is this really cool, like sci-fi animal crossover book. It's kind of a weird one, but in a really good way. Like the main character is a robot that gets stranded on a deserted island. And we'll also be reading a high fantasy book called A Tale of Magic by Chris Colfer. And I actually don't have that one. Jackson failed. But this is not the kind of book club where I'm going to tell you how to read the book and say, on page 4, you should notice this. And if you don't, not that kind of book club. This is a book club where we're going to read the book together and discuss and have theories and, ideas about what's happening and what we think the author is doing, how the author is trying to get inside our brain and mess with us and make us feel things. And where you're allowed to feel any way you want to about the book. You can love the book. You can feel medium about the book. You can dislike the book. All of those things are totally okay. But it's kind of a social book club where we treat it as a way to discuss the book together with friends and kind of have the same experience as we read through it. I'll also be offering a semester creative writing class, which I'm very excited about. We're going to take an idea and every student is going to build on their idea and create their own story over the course of the class. Yeah. So every week you'll get a little bit more information on writing. We'll talk about character, about world building, about dialogue, all that good stuff. And then over the course of the semester, you'll build your own story. Okay. You'll go from 0 to however long you want your story to be. It's a really good class for young writers who maybe have trouble getting ideas out of their head or finishing their stories. If you've ever started a story but fizzled out partway through, this is the class for you. But it's also a great class for reluctant writers. That's kind of my specialty, is helping reluctant writers realize that writing doesn't have to be like this intense, scary thing where everyone's judging you. We can write fun and weird stories because it's fun to write fun and weird stories. And then about me, yeah. So I'm an author of 16 books for people ages, I guess, maybe 5 to a million. I've never met a 1,000,000-year-old person, but if they're out there, I'm sure they're reading my books. I've written a whole bunch of books. They're available in 23 languages around the world. I wrote all the books that are behind me, but I can't roll over because there's a dog sleeping right there. And if I roll over her, she'll never forgive me. But I've written all kinds of books, and I've also taught and spoken all over the country and actually, I guess, the world. So I absolutely love this. And I really hope that I will see some of you guys in this book club or creative writing classes.
Jackson, thank you so much. Two amazing things to note. One is that Jackson is very much in the space of appealing to these like disparate learners on different ends of the continuum, right? Like you have this incredible ability to lure in people who are like reluctant readers and writers. And then you also have this ability to create content at this level, which is so attractive to people who are already interested in these spaces. As well as one of the things that you may have noticed here, families, what we're trying to do is do the stuff that happens later in life, but just for younger people. I mean, it's a pretty simple idea, but one of the things behind Young Scholars Academy is, why do you have to wait until you're older to take debate robotics, creative writing, etc. If you have a kiddo with a brilliant brain who's ready for it, let's get them in the seat and let's get it happening, because we don't need to wait for a certain chronological age. So Jackson's classes are amazing. And honestly, they excite me because I like book clubs with my friends and I like writing classes. So let's do this for younger people. Thank you, Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we are going to go over now to we're crossing the aisle from humanities to STEM. We're going to go over to Mr. Salch here. And Mr. Salch, you want to tell us a little bit about robotics and engineering and all this hands-on stuff you're doing with our kiddos?
Yeah, I'm really pleased to be here again. This will be my second semester on Young Scholars, and I was amazed in the first semester. The kids are just incredible here. I can't say enough about them. So I'm a retired tech executive, sort of a jack of all trades, and I'm going into my 7th year of full-time online teaching. When I retired, I went into online teaching. The robotics class that I do is very unique. Most robotics classes are either boring, sitting at the computer, pretending to do something, or you have this little kit gadget thing that kind of looks like a robot, but it doesn't really do much stuff. So what I did is I designed a course where we actually build a very capable real robot at a reasonable price. This little fella has all sorts of capability. He's got a multitude of sensors. He's got ultrasonic, infrared. He plays music. He does lights, neopixels. He can do flips and pop wheelies and all kinds of fun stuff. And this is a hands-on true robotics class. I like to see the kids be able to actually touch it and do things. So I sort of direct them down projects, but how they do their project is completely up to them. Freedom to be creative. So it is partly about building this robot from a kit, and partly about the concepts inside of robotics, and partly coding. You don't have to know coding. The coding that I use is graphical, much like Scratch, block coding, simply because I don't want to focus on learning how to code. We do coding only so that we can do robotics concepts. So it's a minimal amount of coding, but there is coding throughout the experience to do things like the first project they'll do is make this little guy do a song and dance. Any kind of routine they want, 15 seconds, singing, dancing, flashing lights. It's sort of a Michael Jackson moment. And they have a lot of fun with that. Then we turn this into a pet, and he uses his sensors to roam around the house and hopefully not get stuck, and kind of record their journey as they go through the house. He can do things like robot races. It comes with a racetrack, and we actually do class races where all the kids will tune their robot for the fastest speed they can. But if it comes off the track, you're disqualified and you have to start over. So stuff like that. It's a lot of fun stuff. It's all project-based. And one of the unique things about it is I try my best to tailor it to your ability. If somebody comes in and have never done coding before, they don't know anything about robots, they can't even spell robot, it's perfectly fine. We walk through and I'll help them through the minimum that we need to get the robot going. But if somebody comes in and they've already built a Lego Mindstorm and they know all about coding and they do JavaScript and Python and all this stuff, that's perfectly fine too. These projects, they can expand as far as they want to. So it really is learner directed under the project auspices that I create. That way we can accommodate both ends as much as possible. At the end of the day, the goal is for the kids to truly learn what robotics is, not just to have fun with it, although that's how we learn. My goal is to make sure they understand, what does an ultrasonic sensor do and why do I want one? What is this concept of a robot personality? I spend quite a bit of time on that sort of thing, the concepts inside of robotics. So it's very different than any robotics class you may have seen as far as I know. I don't know anything like it that's out there. Let's see, did I miss anything?
No, I want to add really quickly before we go on to engineering, Mr. Salch. One thing that I want to underscore what that Mr. Salch is saying, we have these conceptual and physical things happening simultaneously in this class, right? This is not just like a plug and play, you get a Lego kit and now it's built. we're really talking about at a high level. The first lesson, I'm blown away. I sat in Mr. Saltz's class, and what are the tiers? What are the pillars of robotics? Wow, we have to really think about this. What is it? Is it independence? Is it autonomy? What is it? And the students are going through and talking about these things, and then they're building and programming. So we're really going a lot deeper here. Carry on. Sorry, would you tell us quickly about engineering? And that seems like it's similar, but is also quite different.
Yes, it's similar, but it's completely different. In the engineering class, this is a special class that I've developed, which is a combination electrical engineering and physics, and in the context of inventing. So you start with a kit. Here's actually one. It's got parts and pieces, all different motors and electronic components and things, sort of like snap circuits, except way cheaper and more reliable, protected. The kids can play around. They're not going to break it. But here's what's unique. All you buy is the components themselves, generic components. And yet the course is all about learning how to read and write schematics. How does electricity flow through these circuits in the context of building things that they can completely design by themselves. Like the first project is a flashlight, just to get the basics down. How does electricity flow? How do you connect parts together? How does this work? So they build their own flashlight. And I've seen flashlights built out there, everything you can imagine, from a yogurt cup to a tree branch to Legos. There's no rules. I give the kids complete freedom. You can build anything you want to build as long as it meets this very minimal set of requirements. And then after we build the flashlight, we do some fancy stuff, like we make it automatic dimming, or we make it automatic. So you pick it up, it turns on, you put it down, it turns off. So these projects last 2, 3, 4 weeks each, and you start very basic and then you build on. And as we go through, the projects get more and more elaborate. Like today, I was just working with a group, not on Young Scholars yet, but on another platform that I teach on, where we were building catapults, and they turned in their final catapult videos, which was amazing. These kids are just, if you turn them free to be creative, the things they come up with just blow me away. And in each course, I do a final 1 week, build anything you want. Take all the concepts we learned, all the stuff that we learned how to build and how to do load diagrams and how to do schematics and how to have all these different parts and pieces work. Now build something, anything. And I give them no direction whatsoever. And you would not believe the stuff I come up with. Like my favorite is the burrito alarm. This one fella, he had trouble with his siblings, kept stealing his burrito out of the fridge. So he created by himself his own design, a burrito alarm. It looked like a burrito wrapped up in aluminum foil, but if you picked it up, it screamed at you. It almost gave his aunt a heart attack. Stuff like that. It's just incredible what they can do. So the main thing about the engineering class, it's about bringing out the creativity and individuality of these STEM classes. Instead of saying, put tab A in slot B, let them figure out, should there be a tab A in a slot B? That's really the goal.
Mr. Saltz, thank you for this. And again, everyone, I hope you can see this. We're talking about divergent thinking here, right? Which is going to be a theme throughout the night as well. The idea here that there isn't just a tried and true way, right? But the opposite. And you can probably picture your students right now. If you say, what's the most obscure flashlight you can make? Like, that's a challenge that they're going to take on. And that's going to get all the neurons firing. That's going to excite them. They want to be more absurd than the next person. And they're thinking differently, which is probably going to serve them far better than converging to the mean, right? So it's such a valuable class, and it's such a refreshing take on engineering and robotics. So thank you so much, Mr. Saltz. All right, we're going to do two things here. We're about halfway, so what I'd like to do is grant you the opportunity to stretch if you'd like. Anyone who gets a little stir crazy, if you need to move around and fidget, you're welcome to do that. That's always good. And in just a moment, we're going to transition to one of our families. So I'm going to pause the recording. We have a young kiddo and a mom who's going to share with us, and out of respect for their privacy, I'm going to pause the recording. So everyone who's here live, you're going to get to hear from this family. Those of you watching the recording, I'm sorry. Hopefully you can be here live next time. All right, everyone. So we are back after an amazing testimonial that has me a little emotional. And I'm feeling good. So let us keep it going. We are getting through our amazing mentors, and I accidentally skipped one because I was so excited to hear from Yael and Emmy. So let's go over to Megan. Megan, I'm so sorry. We're going to go over to you and hear about the world of Dungeons and Dragons, which is growing rapidly. That was a good testimonial.
It was great. I'm thinking about getting my kids in that class, in all honesty. I am Megan Hardy, and I do Dungeons and Dragons. I cannot say enough good things about this game. I know we consider it's a game. It's really an experience, and I have taught hundreds of kids at this point and run games, equally as many games probably. It is a chance to socially bond, but it's beyond that. Creativity, writing, math. If you could take every skill and kind of put them into one setting, you kind of get it in Dungeons and Dragons. I have one student who has literally spent, her mom would say, I can't get her to write. She doesn't like to write. And yet she wrote a 4-page backstory overnight because she was really into her character. Kids that sometimes struggle in math, but they want to figure it out themselves when they're trying to figure out damage and such. And you sit around the table and we're obviously doing this on screen, but it's kind of screen free, which is not the most common thing these days. And you have to interact, you have to work together, and you have to come together for a goal. And I have groups where the first session, hardly anybody's talking. And by the end of it, they're friends. And I've had groups that are basically, they have formed really, really tight friendships all over the country because of this game that brings them together. Imagination, this is the key to the game. In one of my Young Scholar Academy classes, there was a young student who wants to be a pillow. I do not understand it. He wants to be a pillow. I love it. And we developed a ranger that was a pillow, and he's pillow archer, and he is amazing. And all the students rallied behind him. And so they were working together during the session to come up with the lore of pillow archer and how he came to be and how they could all connect to the story. And it was the most amazing thing to see these kids, like a concept you might just laugh about, but they really supported him, and they were like, okay, we've got it. So this evil wizard came across you, and it's been amazing. And that's really kind of what I promote in Dungeons and Dragons. It's fun, and there are things to fight, and there's combats, but it's more about the social connection and the adventure you go on together. And for Young Scholar Academies, what I do is I homebrew games, because there are certain things I want to emphasize, especially at this age. Different age groups, different skills, and I really tailor my campaigns for the groups. For instance, I'm running the same campaign for 2 different groups here, but I have basically made them very different campaigns because the groups are very different in nature. And so I adapt and change and kind of build for the groups I have. And it's just a fun experience. And I feel like I have the best job in the world. I get to play pretend for a living, and it's amazing. So
it's so incredible. I've had the fortune of watching Megan's classes, and it is seeing our students. I mean, if you closed your eyes and listed everything, I've said this before, if you listed everything you want them to do and let go of how it comes to pass, it's Dungeons and Dragons, right? It's teamwork, it's collaboration, it's creativity, turn taking, problem solving. I mean, it's everything that we want in the most magical, majestic way possible. So it is truly amazing. And Meg and I am even, wanting to start playing myself now because of the class. So thank you so much for inspiring our kids and me. Thank you. All right, we're going to keep it moving, everyone, so we can have time for our breakout sessions. You've heard from so many amazing mentors and an amazing family. We're going to go over to Nelson now. Nelson is our resident historian, and Nelson can tell us about weird history.
Yeah, well, and Sam, I think we're running a session of Tools of War
and Tools of War.
Well.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have that wrong. So, hello everyone. My name is Nelson. I was the kid when I was younger who was devouring coffee table books about castles and tanks and crazy monarchs who did weird things and, historical murderers and all that kind of sort of weird stuff. I was just into a bunch of really sort of interesting sort of niche side topics that didn't get talked about a lot in school, or that sort of got mentioned very briefly, but then I really wanted to kind of explore and really dive into. And so, fast forward now many, many years in the future, I've been teaching history and English and art history at a high school in Metro Atlanta for about the last 15 years. And I started teaching online during the pandemic, and I got really, really excited about not only being able to kind of take these things that I'm still really excited about and really interested in and sort of share those with students, but also to find students who are also really excited about and interested in those same things. And especially now, because we have so much access to the internet, so many of the students that I work with have such remarkable content knowledge that they are able to sort of bring to the table because they've been able to watch the YouTube videos and, see the documentaries and all that sort of stuff. And that's been really, really cool. So what I'm doing with my two classes, I have one called Weird History and one called Tools of War. The Weird History class is exactly what it sounds like. I try and pick these sort of niche side topics that, again, don't typically get a lot of coverage in a classroom setting in sort of a traditional school. So, we talk about why the marathon of the 1904 Olympics was such a disaster that it almost got the Olympics canceled altogether. We talk about a German king who went on a palace building spree that got him removed from the throne and possibly secretly murdered. We get to talk about all kinds of really, really interesting, really, really fascinating stuff in that class. And then on the Tools of War side, that's more of a history class that's kind of mixed with the STEM disciplines, because we look at sort of tanks and aircraft and ships and that sort of thing that were developed during the First and Second World Wars. And we talk not only about sort of how they were used, but also how they were designed and the physics behind how they work. And, in order to, move this thing that weighs 45 tons, what does the engine have to be capable of? And how does the transmission work and all that kind of stuff? What I've tried to do with both of these classes is to go beyond having it, though, just be sort of me delivering material, because, again, a lot of the students have access to a lot of that stuff already. So first of all, I'm a big believer that when we talk about social studies, a lot of time we talk more about the study than we do about the social. And I think this is a class where we have a really, really great opportunity to focus on the fact that everybody is coming with background knowledge and sort of things that they're particularly excited about, and they have input they can provide. So we spend a lot of time in these classes doing discussions. And I'm a big believer in the importance of using history as a way to develop empathy. And so one of the things we do a lot of, not only to sort of develop empathy, but also to problem solve, is to say, okay, this is the situation these historical figures are in. Let's try and put ourselves in their headspace. Let's try and understand why they're making the choices that they're making, and, see the consequences of that play out. Use that as a way to, sort of not only develop our own capacity to sort of work through some, complex problems that don't always have easy answers, but also to understand, maybe why it is that other people made some of those choices, and use that as a way to kind of learn to connect with, people that we run into in our day-to-day lives. In addition to that, one of the things that I've started doing with the course this semester is also adding opportunities for students to do some of their own research and kind of bring in some of the topics that they're excited about that maybe I don't know about, or that we don't get a chance to cover in one of my sessions because we only have so many weeks. But that's a chance for them to say, hey, this is something that I'm really passionate about that I discovered that I want to bring in. I've got a student right now who's doing in Tools of War research on this Japanese tank that had a trench digger and a flamethrower and a crane built onto it, because they kind of wanted it to be able to do everything. And it's super weird and it's super bizarre. I've got a student in Weird History who's doing research into a bunch of sort of double agents who told the Nazis that they were spying for them, but were actually feeding them false information. So there's just so much really, really cool stuff out there. And I'm so excited that the class not only gives us a chance to sort of explore those things, but also, again, to build skills, because a lot of these students have tons and tons of content knowledge, but they may not have a lot of other people in their life that they can talk to about those things and sort of share that passion and excitement with. And also to be able to, use that as a way to kind of build these skills that are going to not only support them in their future social studies experiences, but just throughout the rest of their academic career and their lives as human beings.
Nelson, thank you so much for that. And, if you think about your own experiences, everyone, sometimes, you'd go into a history class and the thing that you'd hope that you would get the whole class, you would just maybe get once for a moment, right? And it's like the standout moment. And Nelson's built a history program that's just that stuff, right? You talk about, socializing through history. We've got students that are coming together that know everything there is to know about, British frigates in a certain period. And they're coming together with students from all over the country, all over the world, and connecting about that passion. And that's just so incredible, especially the building empathy and understanding figures from the past to better understand people in the present. So important. So thank you so much. We're going to go over now to Dr. Jade in just a moment here and talk about a bunch here. So Dr. Jade, we're going to do our best to cover these 3 classes. We've got chemistry, which we're bringing back again, which is widely popular. It was our first class to sell out last semester. Creativity, and our advocacy class.
Hi, yes. Boy, I went first last time, and I can't remember if I could. I think I had to leave early, and I didn't get to hear about everybody's wonderful classes. And it's been such a treat to sit here and listen to everybody talk about their classes. It's very energizing and exciting. So I am Dr. Jade Rivera. I have my doctorate in cognitive diversity from the same graduate school that Mr. Sam graduated from. I've been working with twice exceptional children for 16 years and they're basically the only type of child that I've ever taught. And so I feel fairly fluent in the language of neurodivergence and twice exceptionality and the culture as well, especially given that I myself am twice exceptional neurodivergent. So I teach chemistry. We are going to start a second section of chemistry this semester. The first section was about atomic structure, molecular structure, and polarity. And this next section will continue on molecular structure, chemical reactions, and the difference between chemical reactions and physical reactions, and ends in a very fun project where students use chemical reactions to determine the identity of an unknown. So this is a great class for anybody who took the first chemistry cohort or already knows a lot about polarity, atomic structure, and molecular bonding and structure as well. So that's the chemistry course. The next course, the creativity course, I'm pretty excited about. This will be my second time teaching this class, actually. We're going to work together to learn, what is creativity? Are you creative? Why is creativity important? How does creativity show up around you every day? Unfortunately, creativity being such a buzzword, it's also deeply misunderstood, where people think to be creative, you have to be good at like drawing or art or something like that. But really, it's just, idea generation, convergent thinking, divergent thinking, looking at the world in a different way, learning to solve problems using multiple strategies, all things that twice exceptional children are already so good at, right? And so giving them sort of a language in order to begin to see themselves that way does wonders for their self-image and their self-awareness and their self-efficacy. And also it's just like really fun. So that's a great course. I'm excited to teach again. And then the next course is really a self-awareness course, an identity building course, as well as an advocacy course, designed to help students develop a fluidity with the language of social competence. So understanding that while we're all one and we're all connected, there's also a beautiful variance between how we all exist, both in our mental states and our physical bodies and our cultures and where we show up in the world. I think that there can be a lot of sort of trepidation and angst around speaking about things like our particular neurodivergences, our sexuality, our cultural identity, these kinds of things, but there doesn't have to be, right? And once you develop that sort of fluency or that fluidity with that language, there's so much power that exists there that is not just about you designing a life that you're excited to live, but also developing empathy and self-awareness and understanding for others so that you can, you know, co-create a reality that we're all excited to live. And so those are my 3 courses. And yeah. Thanks for listening to me talk.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Dr. Jade, something else that Dr. Jade didn't mention is that she founded one of the most famous, I would say, schools in the 2E space, and is working on a second book now about micro schools and twice exceptional education and neurodiversity. And so you also bring this amazing expertise, not just as an educator, but also as like an industry leader, I think.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I really love teaching here, and really it's what you're building is really cool. And I know I say that a lot, but I'll say it another time. So
Well, thank you.
proud of you.
Thank you. Parents, I hope that you can see, like, when we talk about expert mentors, like there's no one else out there who can do what these people are doing. Like there's one Mr. Saltz, there's one Jackson, you know, like there's these mentors have such deep knowledge and such passion and such caring, nurturing love for your kids that when they come in, it just clicks. You know, if it clicks, it clicks. And as you just saw with Dr. Jade, you know, one of the big through lines through the night and through all of our programming is that positive self-image, that affect, that sense of belonging, embracing oneself. And that's especially going to be true with our next mentor, who's going to be Miss Jackson. Who's going to tell us about Miss Jackson's our newest ad for our spring courses and our newest mentor here, and is going to be telling us about improv.
Right. So I hope I'm not too lagging now with my internet. So I'm so engaged and immersed in these professional people talking about their classes. It's hard for me to transition over to talking about me. But I am a newbie. Only for young scholars. I am a veteran teacher, 26 years, but this is all new for me. But I'm excited. I love neurodivergent learners. I have 3 in my home, but we'll talk about that in a minute. First, let me talk about improv. I offer theater improv class. I have 2 parts to it. One is what we think of as improv. It's playing the games and doing the activities and being engaged with one another. And those help us think quickly, help us react and respond to one another, which of course helps us in real life. Right. And also develop courage and creativity and explore our creativity. So that's part. And the other part is actually preparing for stage acting. And so learning how to create a character with voice and body and emotion and backstory, all of those things. I bring them together. They work well together. And I've been doing it for a long time and I really love it. And kids tend to love it. The theater nerds love it, but also sometimes other kids kind of accidentally find their way into my classes and find that they enjoy it too. There's a lot of laughter. The buzzword right now I'm finding is OCs. We like to create our original characters. And so there is a lot of creating original characters, which neurodivergent kids, they have their outside of the box ideas and thoughts, and they tend to be detailed, and there's whole backstories, and I love it. I relish it. I get right in there with them, and I do it with them. Every activity a kid does, I do with them. There's no separating. I'm very, very learner directed. Who am I? I'm Miss Jackson. I have 3 twice exceptional children of my own. Out of 3, I got 3. They are 24, 21, and 19. My 24-year-old is graduating with a theater degree this month. or this semester, my 21-year-old is graduating with an associate's degree and going on to learn more about gender studies and writing. And then my youngest is a TikTok star, my stage manager, and we'll be learning about video game developing in the fall. So I've been there. I've been you parents. My whole family is dyslexic. None of us read until we were over 10, yet we're brilliant. We just don't know how letters work. And we say lots of quirky things. And we forgive each other because we all are in the same boat. I've also been teaching besides being a mom. I've been teaching for 26 years. I run my own program, Miss Jackson's Theater. We've put on 60 shows in 6 years. COVID took a break and taught online, learned I love it. I love virtual learning. So now I'm doing both. I teach online and I also do in person. We're putting on Wizard of Oz. We put on Alice in Wonderland last semester. So I stay busy with kids in every form that I can. My class is a safe place to explore. I just want kids to be open to explore however they want to express themselves, and find their own voices and really just be themselves in a safe and loving and accepting environment, which that's huge. That's kind of what we all need all the time, right? So I'm excited to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Sam.
Ms. Jackson, thank you so much. We're so happy to have you and so fortunate to have so many students join you in improv and really build that confidence around their own abilities and strengths and identities. And I have to look up OC. That's new to me. I just wrote that down busily. So I'm learning a lot tonight. Thank you so much. I want to give a super quick intro to someone and just kind of tease you with Miss Jolene, another new member of the Young Scholars Academy community. I mentioned to you all that we're going to be talking about summer camps next week. We'll be getting summer camps out to you. And I just want to give Miss Jolene the stage for a moment to pique your interest with a little something that you can expect to have coming at you this summer at Young Scholars Academy. So Miss Jolene, tell us a little bit about what I'm talking about.
Hey there. So I'm Jolene, and I am listening to these educators, and I'm just like, yes, I want that class and that class. And then I'm like, oh, right, I'm not that kid anymore. But I am, because I'm loving it. There's so many great offerings here. I'm so glad to be among these. I know you refer mentors, and I'm so glad to. I was so excited about offering Minecraft classes over the summer that I came to our spring open house and just saying hi. And I'm really, really glad to be here. I have a bunch of certifications and master's degree in curriculum and instruction, specifically for teaching kids who are blind and visually impaired, and reaching across all access of the curriculum with that, and a bunch of certifications as well, including Minecraft education. What happened is I started playing Minecraft, and I have my own. I'm neurodivergent. I almost was like, well, unless you. Maybe you know already, but I have my own 2E kiddo too. And we started playing Minecraft, and I needed to know all the things. And I need to know all the things about everything. And info dumping is my love language, and I love it. I want to hear about it. I want to talk. I want to connect with other Minecrafters in a safe, supportive place where we establish community. And then they can create and do whatever they love. And what's so cool to me with Minecraft is it's a sandbox game. There's no, you must do this, this, and this in this time period with this competition or any of that. Whatever your special interest is, you can absolutely do it in Minecraft. Engineering, chemistry, there's literally so much that can be done, and art and creativity. So I'm very excited.
We're so excited to have you, Ms. Jolene. And again, that's just a little teaser. We're going to be building out an amazing Minecraft program this summer that you guys you'll get more of, and you'll get more time with Ms. Jolene. But that's just coming later. This is now. So Thank you, Miss Jolene, for being with us. Everyone, I'm going to share two quick things with you, and then we're going to pop into those breakout rooms in just a minute. So I am still offering two main courses at Young Scholars Academy. If you are interested, still offering speech and debate, the class that started it all, and Young and Thriving. And speech and debate, as a reminder, is just, I think, one of the most important classes in the world. Why? Because like so many others, it helps us find our voices, right? It helps us understand persuasion and advocacy on a very basic level, and then helps us start to, as you heard from our amazing Emmy earlier, helps us start to find our voice and discover how we can wield it to both accomplish our goals and communicate effectively, but also identify when some of these methods are being used on us and say, wait a second, this is a lever that's being used against me. So it's both building confidence, finding one's voice, organizing one's thinking, right? And it's a gamified, fun manner that we're doing what we want to do, and we're doing it in a really funny way. The next one that we have is Young and Thriving, which is our executive function kind of super course, which is helping your student build their own task management systems. This course exists at several different levels. And essentially the idea is that instead of just saying, hey kid, take this agenda book, we're reflecting on ourselves. We're looking at what kind of learner are we? What are our preferences? How do we intake information? How do we store information? And can we build a personalized system around our learning profile to help us accomplish tasks, get things done, stay organized, and show the world how brilliant we are? Because if this sounds familiar, you can let me know, but so many of our 2E kids are brilliant beyond belief, but really fall apart when it comes to production. And this course was designed directly for twice exceptional students to kind of get their stuff across the finish line. Okay, so those two courses are really helpful with that: speech and debate, organizing the thinking, and Young and Thriving, organizing, the tasks and all the academic stuff. So with that said, we are going to quickly pop into breakout rooms. Before we close out, I just want to share a couple quick things with you. I hope those breakout sessions were amazing. This is an open house. Young Scholars Academy is a school without walls. And the idea here is that you can pop into different classrooms and meet your teachers, right? Think of it like back to school night. So that's exactly what we're doing here. We're meeting our teachers, meeting our future mentors, sharing interests, and getting excited before we spend 8 weeks together, delving into our interests and everything. So let me go ahead and screen share something really quickly with you, and then we're going to start to close out. I want to kind of recap everything. So then not only are you going to get to spend 8 weeks with these amazing mentors when you sign up, and not only are you going to get all this amazing support, but you're also going to get all of these incredible things. So as we mentioned, you have the Homeroom Social Club, right? When you enroll in 2 different Young Scholars courses, if you take improv and creative writing, then you're going to get that Homeroom Social Club for an hour a week at no cost. If you can only sign up for one class because you're really busy and you want to take 1 hour or 90 minutes of D&D, then you can still qualify for 50% off of the Homeroom Social Club. Okay, so that's there for you. But we also want to make sure that we're supporting our parents. Yes, our students' #1 concern is often socializing and making friends. So we've built that into our community. But we want to make sure we're supporting our parents. So we have 2 exciting events. Dr. Matt Zakreski, if you're in the space at all, you have heard his name probably. If you haven't yet, this is going to be a great way to meet him. He goes around the world and speaks at conferences as the keynote speaker, and he's going to come and talk to our 125 enrolled families with an intimate Q&A for like 90 minutes. Okay, so you can't get more intimate than this. We're going to be talking about perfectionism and anxiety and that loop from the clinical psychological perspective from Dr. Matt Zakreski. So that's going to be amazing. And I'm also going to do a lunch and learn for different age groups. So we'll be able to have lunch together and chat and support parents in that way. So you're getting the classes that you love. You're getting these talks with experts. You're getting your student in different social clubs where they can make friends and talk about everything but a class. And you're also getting a resource. We're going to give you a resource, which is an assignment priority planner, which is basically a plug and play template to help your student make a giant step forward in just one day in their executive function. Are they capturing tasks as they come in? Are they prioritizing them? And then do they have like an actionable to-do list? So you get all of this when you sign up at no extra cost, simply just for enrolling in Young Scholars Academy. And that's part of the Virtual Village support. So I want to share all of that with you and let you know one other really exciting thing, that currently we have a early bird special. So that ends this summer, and our courses have all been brought down 10% of what they were previously. And then they're an additional 10% by Sunday. So you get all these amazing mentors who you have just heard from this evening. You get all of these incredible resources, and you're also going to be saving virtually 20% when you enroll by this Sunday. So I want to just close out on that and share that with you. And we'll put the link one more time in the chat here so you can grab that, parents who are still here. And I'd like to thank all of you. Thank you to our mentors. Thank you to our families. Thank you to our family who spoke earlier. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the commitment that you're making to support neurodivergent and twice exceptional students and help them not be defined by their deficits, not be defined by what they're not doing, but be lifted up and celebrated and cultivating the areas in which they're strong, because those are the areas that matter, right? As my favorite psychologist, Joseph Renzulli, said, no one cares about Picasso's ability to do math or Einstein's ability to paint, right? So why do we make school all about making people do what they're not good at? Young Scholars Academy is all about developing unique talents and strengths so that your students can thrive. And I want you to picture this for me. Imagine it's 2 months from now, you've just finished a course, you finished robotics or engineering or book club or D&D or creative writing or weird history or whatever it may be. And we're sitting down at a cafe and you're telling me that your child is thriving. You're telling me your child's made friends in Homeroom Social Club. They're developing their strengths and interests with our team of quirky mentors. They've won a debate. They've tested a hypothesis. They're loving a book. They built a robot, whatever it may be. And I want you to feel that feeling, feel the warm and fuzzies. And that's what you're going to feel in 6 or 8 weeks when you sign up for a Young Scholars Academy course. So my only question for you is, are you ready? Are you ready to sign up right now? Are you ready to go save 20% on courses by Sunday? Are you ready to emerge your kiddo in the trusting care of these amazing 9 mentors that you have before you? And are you ready to see your kiddo absolutely thrive? So I hope the answer is yes. Again, the link is right there in the chat if you want to go sign up and save. And I appreciate all of you so very much. Thank you so much for being here, and keep thriving.